Okay, this assignment, the equations are more complex. They have multiple variables. You don't do, it's not a cookie cutter assignment though, in that you don't do the same thing on every problem. Okay, so there's a cross. And here's example 1. We have 6x plus 3x plus 8 equals 35. Now, here's my equals. I can see my x's are all on the same side, so I'm going to make my wall. And I'm just going to simply talk about over here. So what are your operations over there? It's times x plus 3 times x plus 8. What we need to first do is make a v and add the numbers that are times by x. So I line up my equals. We have 35. 6 plus 3 is 9 times x, and then plus the 8. I make the wall again. Now I circle the times operation. I get rid of the 8. We got to get from the 8, the number not multiplying by x, we have to get that to 0. 8 to get to 0 would be subtracting 8. Okay, so I have 9 times x. 35 minus 8 is 27. And then 9 times x, you divide both sides by the 9, and x equals 3. Okay. You can verify your answer by taking 6 times 3, because I think that's the answer, plus 3 times 3, plus 8, and I got 35. Okay, let's go to the other one. 5 minus 5x equals 14 minus 8x. Now I can't make my wall because we got x's on opposite sides. We need to fix that problem. So I have a negative 5x and negative 8x. Well, let's get the negative 8x off this side. So you go from negative 8 to 0, you'd have to add 8x. So again, you're ready to make the wall there because all the x's are on the same side, but here they're on opposite sides. So we're going to fix that problem, okay? So equals negative 5 plus 8 is 3x. We got a plus 5 and then a 14. Now x is only on the one side of the equation. So times 3 plus 5. Get your plus 5, get your positive 5 to a 0, you would subtract 5. 9. Divide both sides by 3. And I got 3. Okay. Now example 3, I'm going to use actually 2 boxes here, okay? Because we have a little problem right off the bat. 5x minus 3 parentheses x minus 5 equals 13. That parentheses has got to be simplified, okay? It really does. So here's what you do. Make a times dot right outside so you know what you're going to be distributing. Now, minus in front of the number means that's a negative, okay? Now go inside. We probably want a 1 times x right there. And then a minus, okay, plus negative. And then we're just worried about that. This little part here we're going to simplify. This and this will come later, but here I simplify. So negative 3 is the multiplying number. So I go negative 3 times 1 times x and times negative 5. So it's going to be negative 3 with x, and that's going to be positive 15. So I line up my equals, and on the left side I go negative 3x plus 15. Now you cross that part out. Now you still have to add your 5x. And then 13. Now I can make my wall because we have x's just on one side of the equation. So I make the wall, and here are my operations. Times 3 plus 15 plus 5 times x. Okay. So I'm going to need to add my x's. Okay. Add the numbers multiplied by x. So negative 3 forward 5 is 2x, and then plus 15. So I've got 2 times x and plus 15. So we want to get our plus 15 to a 0. If that's going backwards, that's subtracting 15. 2 times x, 13, backwards 15 is negative 2. Then we divide by the 2. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1, so x has an answer of negative 1. Okay, next problem. Again, on the ones that have parentheses, I'm going to be using two boxes. 9 plus 4x equals 2, and then 3 minus x. First, the parentheses has to go, okay? So the outside right before the parentheses, you got 2, it's positive, and then 3, and then minus, make it plus negative, and put a 1, so it's 1 times x, okay? Negative 1 times x, so I go from the 2. 2 is the multiplier. We'll be multiplying it by 3, and then we'll be multiplying it by negative 1 times x. So that's 6. It's going to be negative 2 with x. So that's over here. I like to put the x first. That's just me. Negative 2x plus 6. Now you may cross out the parentheses and the number that was multiplied in the parentheses, and that's all you have over there. So over here we got 9 plus 4x. Now, I go with it from there. Now, I can't make my wall because we have x's on opposite sides, on both sides. So I'm going to take the negative 2 and get rid of that by taking it to a 0. From a negative to a 0, you have to add 2x. And then to the 4x. So I line up my equals. That's going to be 6x plus the 9. That's 0 and then 6. Okay. Now, the wall can go up. This is the only x I have. It's a multiplier of 6. We do have a plus 9, so we have to subtract 9. Okay, 6 minus 9 is negative 3. And then we will be the answer is not negative 2. Okay? 6 times 2 is not 3. Okay? It's ridiculous. Okay? I'm not going to freak out if somebody does that. I'm just explaining. You need to be dividing by 6. So you're taking a smaller number divided by a bigger number. So you can do that. You're just going to get a decimal that's less than 1 whole. It's negative 0.5. Okay, next one. I don't need two boxes for the next one because it doesn't have parentheses. Okay, 8x minus 4 equals 3x plus 6. Okay, so here's so you don't have parentheses, that makes it nice. I have x's on both sides, okay? 8x and 3x. Let's get the 3x to a 0, okay? So I will be taking the 3x to 0 by subtracting it, because I moved backwards there. So equals 8 minus 3 is 5x, and then minus 4, and then you have 6. Now we're going to make the wall, because I have x on x is the only x I have is on one side. So you got times 5 minus 4, that's a plus negative 4. To get from negative 4 to 0, you're moving forward, so that's plus 4. 5 times x equals 10. Now you can divide 10 by 5, it's 2, because 5 times 2 is 10. Now if it was 10 times x equals 5, no. Okay? So divide by 5, and that's 2. Okay, example 6. We have 4x minus 3 minus 2x equals negative 15. Okay, we're going to be able to make our wall here because we have x's all on the same side. Okay, so I have a 4 times x, a minus 3, so a plus negative 3, the minus 2 plus negative 2, and a times x. Now first thing we need to do is simplify, so we add the numbers both multiplied by x. Okay, so that's going to be 2 times x. Then plus negative 3. 4 plus negative 2, you're at 4. You go backwards 2, you're at 2. Okay. So I circle the multiplication operation. Get your negative 3 to a 0. You just add 3 because you go forward 3. Negative 15 forward 3 is negative 12. And then divide both sides by the 2. Negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6. two more. We've got only two problems. Okay, I've got 7m plus 3 parentheses m plus 2 equals negative 24. I'm gonna need this second box to show what I'm doing on my distributive property. Okay, first off, parentheses and the number right in front. It's plus in front of it, so it's positive 3. Then inside the parentheses, that'd be a 1 times m, so times 1 times m, and then a 2, so we distribute it. So 3 times 1 is 3 with m, and then 6. So line up your equals. You have negative 24 here, and then you have 3m plus 6 over here. Now don't go from there because you're forgetting something. You can cross out the parentheses and the number we multiply, but you still have a plus 7m. Okay, so I can make my wall now. M's are all on the same, all on one side. So we got times, plus, plus, times. Now I'd want to add these two, 3 and 7. That makes 10. Okay. 10 times m plus 6, okay? So again, I want to keep circling the multiplication. Take positive 6 to 0, you go backwards 6. I got to reset it over here. So 10 times m. Negative 24 backwards 6 is negative 30. And then finally, we're at the stage where 10 times what's 30? Negative 30. Well, positive times a negative is a negative, so it's got to be negative. Then divide both sides by 10. And that'd be 3. Okay, our last problem. 3 parentheses 2y minus 5 equals 4y minus 7. Okay, again, you need, first off, look at your parentheses and the number outside, the number right outside. Now up here I want to look at a lot of people will distribute the 7. No, it's the 3 that's closest, okay? The 7 just hangs out. Here we got the 3 closest. So 3 times 2 times y, and 3 times negative 5. So that's 6y negative 15. So I line up my equals, and you got 6y plus negative 15. Parentheses gone, and the 3 gone. Nothing else is over there, so we have 4y minus 7. Okay, now I can't mark my wall because we have x's on both sides. So one of the two, I usually pick the smaller one, and I need to get that to a 0. Okay. So to take a positive 4 to a 0, you're going backwards, which means subtract 4y. And then from 6y. So line up your equals. That's going to be 2y plus negative 15. 4 minus 4 is 0, and then that would be negative 7. Now I can make the wall. As soon as I have the letter on just one side, I can make the wall. So 2 times y plus negative 15. So we have to get the negative 15 to a 0. I would move forward 15, so plus 15. Plus 15. So line up your equals. I kind of jumped the gun on crossing it out. So 2 times y. Negative 15 forward 15 is going to take us to 0. So it can be crossed out. Negative 7 forward 15 takes us to 8. Then I divide both sides by 2. 2 times what's 8? I think it's 4. And I'm right. Okay.